Love isn't just something men say, it's something they do. Today, I'm breaking down 10 things men do when they truly love a woman. Some of these are obvious, but a few of them, especially numbers 7 and 9, are the ones most people completely overlook. So stick around till the end, because this could change how you read your relationship. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. He prioritizes quality time. The first thing men do when they love a woman is make time for her, even when life gets busy. That means putting the phone down to actually listen, planning time together instead of waiting for her to suggest it, and showing up consistently, not just when it's convenient. It's easy to say you care about someone. It's a lot harder to actually rearrange your schedule, skip out on other plans, or turn down extra hours at work just to be present with her. Here's why this matters. Time is the one thing nobody can get back. Money can be earned again. Opportunities can come around a second time. But a moment spent together today is gone forever once it passes. When a man chooses to spend his limited time with you instead of scrolling on his phone, working late, or hanging out with the guys, that's not small. That's a direct signal of how much he values you. And it's not just about quantity either. A man who loves you doesn't just sit in the same room as you scrolling on his own phone. He's actually engaged, asking questions, making eye contact, being present in the conversation, instead of just physically there. 2. He offers emotional support. Real love shows up in the hard moments, not just the good ones. Anyone can be affectionate when things are going well. The real test of love is how a man shows up when you're stressed, upset, or going through something difficult. Men who love deeply tend to listen without trying to immediately fix everything, validate your feelings instead of brushing them off, and check in during stressful weeks, not just when things are already going well. Sometimes a woman doesn't need advice or a solution. She just needs to be heard. And a man who understands that is showing a deeper level of emotional maturity. Emotional support builds trust, and trust is really the foundation of everything else in a relationship. A woman who feels emotionally safe with her partner is way more likely to feel truly loved, because she knows she doesn't have to perform, mask her emotions, or pretend everything is fine when it isn't. She can bring her full, real self into the relationship without fear of being dismissed or judged. 3. He shows consistency. This one is underrated, but it might genuinely be the biggest one on this entire list. Consistency looks like following through on promises, being predictable in a good way, and showing up the same on hard days as he does on easy ones. It's easy to be romantic during the honeymoon phase, when everything is new and exciting. The real question is, what happens 6 months in, a year in, 5 years in? Does he still put in the same effort, or does it fade? Grand romantic gestures fade fast, and honestly, they're often more about the moment than the relationship itself. But reliability? That's what builds long-term security. It's knowing that when he says he'll call, he calls. When he says he'll be there, he's there. Ask most women what actually makes them feel loved over the long run, and consistency beats flashiness almost every single time, because consistency tells you that his love isn't conditional on his mood or how convenient it is that day. 4. He communicates openly and honestly. A man who loves you shares what's on his mind instead of shutting down, actually engages when he asks about your day, instead of just going through the motions, and addresses conflict directly, instead of avoiding it or giving you the silent treatment. Communication is often the first thing to break down in relationships that eventually fail, and it's usually not one big blowout. It's a slow accumulation of small things left unsaid. A man who genuinely loves you understands that avoiding a hard conversation today just means a harder one later. He's willing to sit in the discomfort of a disagreement instead of running from it, because he values resolving things over simply keeping the peace on the surface. Open communication prevents resentment from quietly building up in the background, and it helps both people feel understood instead of just tolerated. It also means he's willing to be vulnerable, sharing his own fears, insecurities, and needs, not just listening to yours. 5. He supports her goals and independence. Real love isn't possessive, it's supportive. Men who love a woman well encourage her career, her hobbies, and her friendships outside the relationship, even when those things take up time and energy that could technically be spent with him. They celebrate her wins like their own instead of feeling threatened by them, and they respect her need for independence and personal space. This is a big one because insecurity often disguises itself as love. A man who tries to limit who you see, discourages your ambitions, or makes you feel guilty for having a life outside the relationship isn't protecting the relationship. He's controlling it. A relationship built on mutual growth, instead of control, is a relationship that actually lasts, because both people are becoming better versions of themselves rather than shrinking to fit into what's comfortable for the other person. 6. He shows physical affection. This doesn't just mean romance or intimacy. It's the small stuff too. A hand on the small of your back while walking through a crowd, holding your hand in public without being asked. A hug when you walk through the door after a long day, or just sitting close on the couch instead of on opposite ends. Physical affection is one of the simplest, most consistent ways men communicate love without needing a single word. And for a lot of men, actions like this come more naturally than verbal expressions of love. When it's genuine and not just leading somewhere, it tells you he wants closeness for its own sake, not just attention or something in return. This kind of casual, everyday affection often says more about how comfortable and connected he feels with you than any big romantic gesture ever could. 7. He protects her peace. This is the one most people miss. A man who truly loves you will actively try to reduce your stress, not add to it. That means he thinks about how his actions or words might affect your mental state before he acts, rather than doing whatever is easiest for him in the moment and dealing with the fallout later. He won't create unnecessary drama, he won't pick fights over small things just to feel in control, and he'll try to solve problems calmly instead of escalating them into something bigger. He genuinely cares whether you're at peace, not just whether you're happy with him specifically in the moment, but whether your overall mental and emotional state is good. Protecting someone's peace is a quiet, mature form of love that a lot of people underestimate because it doesn't show up in photos or anniversaries. It shows up in the absence of chaos, in the calm you feel simply being around him. 8. He remembers the small things. Men who love a woman pay attention to the little details. Her coffee order, a story she mentioned once in passing weeks ago, a date that matters to her even if it isn't a major holiday. It's not about having a perfect memory or some kind of trick. It's about the fact that he was actually listening in the first place, and that he cared enough to hold on to it afterward. Anyone can remember a birthday or an anniversary because it's written on a calendar. It's the small, unprompted details. Remembering that you don't like a certain restaurant, or that a particular song reminds you of your childhood, that show a much deeper level of attention. Small details remembered over time add up to a woman feeling truly seen, not just accommodated. 9. He stands by her in public. This one matters more than people realize. A man who loves you won't let you get disrespected in front of others, family, friends, coworkers, even strangers, without saying something. He defends you, includes you in conversations and decisions, and makes sure you feel like a priority even when other people are around, not just when you're alone together behind closed doors. How a man treats you in public, especially around people whose opinion matters to him, tells you a lot about how seriously he takes the relationship and how proud he actually is to be with you. A man who's warm in private but distant, dismissive, or embarrassed by you in public is showing you that the relationship comes with conditions. A man who truly loves you is consistent in both spaces. 10. He makes her feel safe. Not just physical safety, but emotional safety too. That means she can be fully herself around him without fear of judgment, ridicule, or rejection. It means she trusts he won't use her vulnerabilities against her later, in an argument or otherwise. This kind of safety takes time to build, and it's built through everything mentioned already: the consistency, the communication, the emotional support. This is really the foundation. Everything else on this list is built on, because without safety, none of the other 9 things mean very much. A woman can receive all the quality time, affection, and support in the world, but if she doesn't feel safe being honest and vulnerable with her partner, something important is still missing. So to recap: quality time, emotional support, consistency, open communication, supporting her independence, physical affection, protecting her peace, remembering the small things, standing by her in public, and making her feel safe. If your relationship has most of these, that's a strong sign of real, genuine love. None of these things require a man to be perfect. They just require him to consistently show up, pay attention, and put in the effort. If you found this helpful, drop a like, subscribe for more relationship content every week, and let me know in the comments which one of these 10 matters most to you. See you in the next video.